So, mentioned this before the break. Let's talk about it. It's an interesting thing. I don't know that anything changes with this, but the state of Mississippi is suing the NCAA. More specifically, the state of Mississippi has enjoined itself in an existing lawsuit against the NCAA.
One of now 12, including Mississippi states.
State of Mississippi. Just for clarification purposes.
Yeah. Well, I would love to know what Mark Keenum thinks about this, but maybe we'll ask him some other day.
Attorney General Lynn Fitch last week had Mississippi join the lawsuit. I think this news was out there, but maybe it was just officially announced in the last day or two.
Yeah, when I brought this up to you, you were like, didn't this already happen? It had been long, a poorly kept secret, I suppose. Been talked about a lot, but this was the official announcement yesterday. They joined the suit last week.
So the AG's office in Mississippi made the announcement that along with 11 other state attorneys general and the United States Department of Justice, which, by the way, Mississippi joining this lawsuit in the last week is a big deal. The bigger deal is the fact that the DOJ has joined the lawsuit. The Department of Justice and its antitrust division has joined this lawsuit against the NCAA, challenging transfer eligibility rules as an illegal restraint on college athletes' ability to sell their image and likeness and control their education. General Fitch said the NCAA's transfer eligibility rule unfairly targets and punishes college athletes who pursue education and competitive opportunities at a better matched school. Students and their parents should be able to direct their education, and for student athletes, that includes choosing the school that best fits their academic and athletic needs. The NCAA's rule robs students of a significant portion of their college eligibility, hinders the development of their skills, and dramatically impacts their immediate and long-term economic opportunities. I do think that we should press pause here just for a second and remind everyone who might be going, I thought there weren't any transfer rules anymore. And there are not, but that is a temporary situation. The NCAA basically said, while we work on the litigation process here, we will suspend all of the transfer rules. You remember that from back at the end of football season when that happened. It's what has allowed players to transfer again, and we're seeing it all over the place, when they have already used their one-time free without penalty transferring, same thing?
Transformers. Optimus Prime.
I think transporting would be the same thing, or roughly the same thing. Teleporting would be different if we were...
Right. Jason Statham was the transporter.
On the 13th of December, Judge John Preston Bailey issued a temporary restraining order, later extended to a preliminary injunction that prohibited the NCAA from enforcing the rule and allowing college athletes to compete without fear of retaliation from the association. The preliminary injunction runs through at least the end of the 23-24 academic year, so that's at least through the College World Series, ensuring that winter and spring athletes can complete their seasons free from the rule's restrictions. A trial date has yet to be scheduled. In addition to General Lynn Fitch in Mississippi, attorneys general from Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Minnesota, North Carolina, New York, Ohio, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia, along with the United States Department of Justice, have filed this lawsuit. It is believed to be the first time that the DOJ has signed on to a state-led antitrust lawsuit. So,
this means one thing. Really only means one thing. Because, we can talk about whether or not, you should be getting involved in this or whatever, sure. But the fact is that they are. What this tells you is if you are hoping that there's going to be a reining in of the portal anytime soon, you are out of luck. It ain't happening. So if the NCAA tries to add restrictions, they're going to fail. Not only do they fail with legal action from players, but now you've got states and the federal government involved in making sure that they cannot restrict athlete movement. It's not going to happen. There is no way that an American court and now American attorneys general, including the one from the state of Mississippi, will look at a situation where an entity can restrict anything involving a student without making them an employee. That's what this tells you, that the NCAA will not be able to rein in the transfer portal until that day comes. That's what this says. That's what this movement is.
And it's also strength in numbers.
This thing tells us. Two things this thing tells us. One is exactly what Michael just laid out. And two is that our government, yet again, has found a way to waste our money.
Is it a waste?
Good job, guys. Yes. This is dumb. Just let the NCAA handle it. Just let it get handled. It's getting handled.
Because that always works when we just let the NCAA handle it.
Does the other side of this work? Does it work when we let the government handle it? No. This is dumb. Our government doesn't need to be involved in college football. There are enough real problems in the world that college football is kind of down my list. I feel like there's just better ways to spend our money.
Devil's advocate just for a second.
Sure. You are the devil.
When you jump to the government should be doing other things with their time, is that not a little bit of a narrow view saying people don't have the ability to do more than one thing at once?
Have you met our government? Have you met those people? My God, they can't do anything. They literally can't even do one thing at a time. I feel like I'm giving them credit telling them they can do one thing. Congrats, you got one thing done? Gold star.
Who do you dislike more, hey, Dad? Government in its entirety or sports officials in their entirety?
Sports officials, at the end of the day, like, I cheer for these teams, but, like, my life isn't, my quality of life, it's just in my emotional state, right? I could just get over it. The government officials actually hurt people sometimes with the things they do. So, yeah, it's government officials, number one. Just, like, they're just useless.
You know, there are a lot of good
into Dale
people that
Gribble
work in
slowly
government.
but sure. There are, but they are vastly outnumbered. There are good people out there. It's the same thing about the world, right?
I think the Attorney General in
There are a lot of-
Mississippi, Lynn Fitch, is a good person and has done a lot of good things for Mississippi.
But this is, well, she's wasting her time on this one. Just you don't need this. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're not helping anybody. Kiffin and Levy aren't begging you to do this. Just Hall's not begging you to do this. Just don't worry about it.
Or maybe they were. Maybe they did want Mississippi to be involved and on the forefront of this.
I doubt it. That's just doubt in my mind on that one.
Yeah.
It is pretty. I mean, what is it? The Alston case that really started all this? I can't remember what the initial.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
it was O'Bannon first.
O'Bannon, that's the one.
O'Bannon got it started, and then Alston is what
NIL
opened.
Really rolling.
Yeah, O'Bannon opened the front on the NIL side of things, and then Alston further gave schools the ability to compensate student athletes for education-related expenses, I think. And that's kind of what opened the door for schools to pay their athletes an additional, like on top of their scholarship and Pell Grant money and room and board and any other stipends they got, just an additional $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a year, just in straight cash for them to do with as they please. And it's just continued to gain momentum on top of momentum.